It started with one of those simple, hopeful ideas that feel too wholesome to go wrong. I just wanted to host a neighborhood blood trivia, good old-fashioned, do something good for others kind of thing. No ulterior motives, no political statements, just juice boxes, cookies, and maybe a few warm smiles shared between neighbors who normally just wave from behind hedges. I pictured folding chairs under a pop-up tent, kids with temporary tattoos, maybe even Linda from the Blood Alliance handing out those stress balls shaped like hearts. That vision lasted about 30 seconds. The very moment we started measuring out spots for registration and recovery, she appeared. Not walked up, materialized. Like her HOA senses had tingled. Her name is Marlene, but in this neighborhood, she's only ever referred to in hushed tones as that woman from the board. There she was, clutching her infamous binder, 3 inches thick, laminated tabs, labeled in a font so sharp it looked like it could cut glass. "Excuse me," she said, voice calm but so sharp it could pierce a tire. "Has this event been approved by the Architectural Compliance Committee?" I blinked. "Marlene, it's a blood drive. Just a small one. It's for the community." She flipped open her binder like she was summoning demons. Section 3, Article 7. No commercial, medical, or non-residential operations are permitted on private lots without prior board approval. Linda, bless her, tried to explain. "We're a nonprofit. We do these in neighborhoods all the time. It's only a few hours." But Marlene wasn't budging. Medical services involve biohazard material. It's a liability. Plus, this type of foot traffic creates congestion. It would be irresponsible to allow it. Within 10 minutes, Linda had packed up. Not her fault. The organization didn't want trouble. She gave me a hug, apologized, and left me standing on my front lawn, utterly humiliated and boiling with a rage so pure it was almost cleansing. That night, I stormed into the house and paced in front of my wife, Ellie, like a raccoon on an energy drink. She shut it down. Marlene shut the blood drive down with a binder and a passive-aggressive smile. Ellie, barely glancing up from her laptop, said, "Let me guess, something about bylaws. Apparently, saving lives violates architectural harmony." She paused. Was the problem the activity itself, or where it was happening? That stopped me. The issue was it's on our lawn. Our property. Ellie sat up. So technically, it was a zoning violation. But what if it wasn't on our property? And just like that, the idea hit me like a freight train. Or rather, a 40-foot mobile clinic. I spent the next 2 hours scouring municipal codes and reaching out to medical bus rental companies. And there it was, a bright red, self-contained donation clinic on wheels, parked legally on a public street, as long as it didn't block driveways, hydrants, or intersections. The city ordinance even said it could stay for up to 72 hours. I didn't need permission from Marlene or her sacred binder. I called Linda back. "What if we didn't use my lawn? What if we used the street?" She laughed. "Are you serious? You have a bus." "I will. In 2 weeks. We're in." Next problem, power. The clinic had a generator, but for a full-day event, they'd prefer a dedicated 50-amp source. My garage outlet barely powered a leaf blower. So I found a local contractor who hated HOAs even more than I did. His name was Dale. Big guy. Looked like he'd arm wrestled a bear for breakfast. He showed up the next morning, took one look across the street at Marlene's beige mini-mansion, and said, "Oh, I know exactly who you're dealing with." He installed a power pedestal on the edge of my lawn, perfectly legal, permitted, and positioned like a middle finger in plain sight. When Marlene marched over, binder raised like a holy relic, Dale wiped his hands on his jeans and said, "It's a glorified outdoor outlet, lady. For his RV. Or maybe a bouncy castle. Don't care." The next day, Ellie designed flyers that looked like movie posters. Bold letters, blood drive, the sequel. Tagline, "This time, it's personal." And mobile. We posted it on the community Facebook page. The neighborhood exploded. There were 3 camps. Team me. Finally, someone stood up to her. Team Marlene. This is disruptive and anti-community. And my favorite, the silent observers, just there for the drama. Does anyone know if popcorn is allowed? Then came the HOA email blast. Subject line, urgent, illegal medical operation incoming. She called it a public safety risk, a disgrace to Whispering Ridge. She even attached a photo of a single oil drop from Dale's truck, claiming environmental degradation. I printed that email and framed it. Then came Dave. Dave's the kind of neighbor you barely notice. Retired accountant. Quiet guy. One evening, he knocked on my door and said, "Son, what you're doing? It's the Lord's work." He leaned in. "She tried to find me once because my flag wasn't symmetrical. You've got more support than you think." That was the moment it stopped being petty. This was bigger than me. It was for everyone she'd silenced. The morning of the event felt like Christmas and Judgment Day rolled into one. I was on the porch at 7:30 sharp, coffee in hand, my wife beside me. And then, at 7:59, I heard it. The rumble of diesel. Around the corner came Unit 5, 40 feet of medical-grade redemption. Chrome shining, engine growling, like a noble beast ready for battle. The driver parallel parked with surgical precision. The wheels kissed the curb. Not a hair over the property line. Legal. Unstoppable. Curtains twitched. Coffee mugs were dropped. Marlene emerged onto her porch like a general surveying a battlefield that had shifted beneath her feet. Linda and her team arrived next, grinning from ear to ear. They set up a table on the public strip. A few folding chairs. A friendly awning extended with the hum of defiance. Dale showed up with a pink donut box and a smug nod, plugged the bus into the pedestal, and said, "Looks damn good." By 9 o'clock, the line had formed. First up, Dave, flag guy. Then Brenda, who Marlene once targeted for wind chimes of a threatening tone. Then Mark with the fishing boat, and half a dozen others. It turned into a block party. My lawn, once forbidden, now hosted folding chairs and donut crumbs. And of course, Marlene made one last move. Another police cruiser pulled up. Same officers. Officer Jensen tired, ready to retire. Officer Vance knew, by the book. Jensen looked at me, sighed, and said, "Let me guess. This is about the bus." "We spoke last week," I said. "City Code Section 12.4.3. Legal for 72 hours. Vance tried to find fault. Jensen just shook his head and muttered, "We're not HOA referees, folks." Then he walked across the street and spoke to Marlene directly. We couldn't hear the words, but we saw the results. Her face fell. Her binder hung limp at her side. And then the door slammed. It echoed like a surrender. By 4 p.m., Unit 5 pulled away, mission complete. They doubled their donation goal. Linda gave me a hug and said, "We'll be telling this story at every team meeting." A week later, I got a plaque. Wooden, classy, from the Blood Alliance. It read, "In recognition of Alex Harper for outstanding community service and creative event execution." I hung it in my office, right next to the framed HOA cease and desist. Now, I'm thinking ahead. Fall food drive. Rumor has it you can rent a refrigerated semi for pretty cheap. Might need to test the noise ordinance next. So let me ask you this. What would you do if your neighborhood's rules were used to hurt more than help? Is it okay to follow the letter of the law if it means exposing the spirit of injustice? Let me know down in the comments. And if you ever need a permit-proof workaround, I might know a guy. Hit like, subscribe if you haven't yet, and hey, go donate some blood. Even if you have to rent a bus to do it.